Hello, welcome back. So today's a really cool video. Picked up a really good fish today, another stingray. Well, I say another stingray. I've had stingrays for over a year and a half now. Used to keep rays. One of the reasons I got into keeping the big fish. Absolutely love rays. I was fascinated by them. And I've been looking to get another one for quite a while now. And a guy I've been talking to on Instagram for about a year and a half, 2 years now, a guy called Jacob, JW Tanks, has recently successfully had his first breeding of his black diamonds. Now, I'm quite picky when it comes to my fish, and I've been looking at Jacob's tanks for a long time now. Yeah, the BDs he's got are superb. I mean, I think it's the mum especially is an Austrian line, so she's got the belly spots that are fantastic. In fact, I'd say the base of the race is more spectacular than the top disc you look at. And so it's from really good stock. And as soon as I knew that she was gravid, we speak quite regularly. I said, look, any pups that come of that, you have to let me know. Lo and behold, about 8-9 weeks ago, she dropped her first pup, single pup litter, so a little male as well. So his very first breeding from this particular pair. Absolutely stoked to have got the very first pup from that pairing. So yeah, let's have a look at him. He's an absolute little stunner, yeah, just over the moon that we've got a nice little ray pup back in the fish room. Let's have a look. So, here we are, back home safe and sound. First check is he's travelled really well. Thanks to Jacob for starving him for 48 hours. There's no food been brought up to ruin the water quality. That airstone's been going for the 2-hour drive back. He looks perfect. Let's go get him in. So, just got the ray drip acclimating now. You can see him in there. Just going through a 6mm airline. What I tend to do is do water levels about here, and I'll try and do half again and a bit more. But the key thing is to monitor pH. So my tank's at about 7.6, 7.65. So I make sure the pHs are equal between his tub and the tank. And I'll put him in, and that gives him no shock. And I know that the water is sufficiently sort of mixed. There we go, it's coming up already. I'll give that a bit of time to mix up. And then we'll get him in. Right then, okay, so I'm happy that the pH in the transport tub is now the same pH as what's in here. Temperature's okay too. It's time to net him out straight away and lift him straight in quick as possible to stop any major stress. So, get on my little fella. There we go. Welcome home. And he's now in. There we go. We'll give him a little bit of time to settle in now. And we'll try feeding in a couple of hours' time. So he has been starved for 48 hours for transport reasons. Okay, so we have had the BD male pup for a week now, a week or so, and he has settled brilliantly. He is eating really well on frozen prawn, mussel, and even some fish fillet. He's absolutely loving the sand. As you can see, he's a bit covered in sand. But for the first sort of 8 weeks of his life with Jacob, he lived in a floating sort of plastic tub. Understandably, obviously keep him safe from the parents. But now he is in this tank of his own. He has settled fantastic and really is enjoying the sand substrate. So I would always say, as for any ray keeper, the idea is we keep these fish as pets. They're in our control. Keep them as natural as possible. These fish love digging, burrowing, and burying themselves completely in substrate as a safety net. So when I see rays kept on glass bases, it's just not right, is it? It's not right. It's like, why would you keep a dog in a cage with no access to grass or that sort of stuff? So always keep rays on sand if you can. I mean, he loves it. Looking at his tank as a whole, the 6 foot tank it's a bit barren. It's not the best looking tank, but it's for the fish. We have a few different geophagus in here. This one here is a very rare geophagus. This is a Geophagus santosii, only described in 2018 as a species. So the first and only one I've ever seen in my 25 years of keeping fish. It looks like a bit of a green terror or a gold salm, rivulatus, but it's not. It's a geophagus. Cracking colours. What a fish that is. I'd love to find some more. I'm glad I found the one. So, but he's just in here. He's settling in. He will go into the 8 foot tank eventually, but he's with a load of these redhead topacos earth eaters. I think they're Surinamensis. But yeah, nice little group. But he's obviously the boss, as you can see. But part of the reason why I've got him in with the ray is because obviously in the wild, geophagus species follow rays around. Whenever rays disturb the substrate like this, there are often to be seen a school of geophagus behind, picking up on what the rays disturb. So it's a little bit of a very, very loose biotope. That's the red tail shark, will have you see. But this tank's been really geared around the needs of the fish, so plenty of floor space for the ray. If I'll take you a side shot, you can see loads of floor space for the ray. Lots of room to grow. I mean, he'll double in size in here before he goes into the 8 foot tank with the tiger fish. But that's his plan, and I probably plan to get 1 or 2 more rays. They are quite sociable animals. I've always found rays enjoy the company of other rays, so I wouldn't want to begrudge him of that. But yeah, a little bit of history about this stingray. He was born on the 25th of May 2022. Was the only pup in the litter, and was the first litter that the female would give birth to. One of the parents is an Austrian Lion BD, which means that the belly spots were fantastic. I think it was the dad, the male. Fantastic belly spots. So this guy's carrying some cracking genes, and one of the reasons I put my name down for him. I'm quite picky with the fish, so I've been after a ray for probably about 1.5 years again now, and this guy came along, and it was my ray of choice. So there's obviously cheaper rays out there, hybrid rays, but if you want real quality, you find a good breeder. Resided in Jacob, who's at JW Stingrays, JW Tanks on Instagram. Know the quality, know the parents. That's what I was after, so I was happy to do that. Yeah, and so he's going to, like I say, he can live his life out here for a bit. I'd say until he gets to at least a 6 to 7 inch disc, and then I'll happily move him indoors. There's those geophagus, and you can see the santosii eyes telling everyone who's boss. Turn around. All the other fish are constantly looking in this tank. Obviously edible sized fish, but they're completely safe. And just a little pan around. This tank currently contains a load of leftover community fish, especially these amazing Silahicthes Janthanculor barbs. I think that's how you say it. That's a pathetic attempt, but Silahicthes is the genus. They're often called the pretty river barb. They're a wild caught Borneo fish. Absolutely gorgeous. But this tank obviously will not be a community tank forever. It is a grow out tank. It is in the fish ring. I like to grow out predatory fish, so this will change at some point. But Hence why these tanks don't look so great. They've been just tailored for the fish they contain. The other fish that is in this tank, which is really hard to sort of see, is there are 7 clown loach, all about 4 inches in size, and just hidden away in that tube there is the freshwater moor eel. See if we can see him in there. That geo gets out of the way. Hey, he's not quite playing ball. We'll look inside. No. There's a freshwater moor eel. He's also obviously growing out to go into the house tank. You can see just inside that tube. Well, I give up with that one. I don't want to disturb it just yet. Let's see if we can come around here. We can see his little head just hidden up there. Yeah, if I throw some muscle or prawn in there, he's straight out. He's a cracking fish. So, just to recap, this tank is a 6 foot by 18 inch wide by 2 foot high. Plenty big enough for a grow out, good enough to play around with. You see all these roots in here. So bear in mind the aquascape's quite light. All these roots come up to, ignore the can of cider, this devil's ivy or pothos that's growing so well by the window. We've also got some creeping fig there, Ficus pumila, which I'm trying out. This is a bit of an experiment, as I've got a few more over here on the weir cover. But I always love growing plants out the top of the tanks. They're on this tank, there's pothos on this tank, and on the big tank obviously there is a big Monstera delicosa, and then a whole variety of devil's ivy or pothos, which has gone all the way around the room, is making its way back. But yeah, the root ball on that is absolutely insane, and that really helps with keeping nitrates down, phosphates down. I mean, I get a bit of algae because of the sunlight, but generally the nitrates on this tank are always under 15 ppm, which is, if not or just on, the same as my tap water, so I really can't argue with that.